Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mezzanine Behavior. I am your host, Jason Eric Testa. Welcome to Mezzanine Behavior. This is a Broadway adjacent series where I talk about things theater and pop culture related for theater people specifically who grew up to be hot and actually self-aware, which is quite a small percentage of us. Imagine Alex Kansani and Mandy Patinkin are outside of Joe's Pub after like a Saturday night show, smoking something, shooting the shit. You know, expect stuff that's very unexpected, outlandish, hilarious, funny, and something you might need meds for. So you're probably watching/listening to this being like, who is Jason Eric Testa? Well, I'll tell you. I am Jason Eric Testa. I am a Broadway actor who has appeared on Broadway in Elf the Musical and the Addams Family National Tour and other Los Angeles regional productions, TV, film, commercials. Lamb, tomatoes, lamb. Lots of stuff. I'm an actor. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised here, lived in Los Angeles for a long time, grew up as a child actor, still acting, and then by evening is when I get on the pole. I'm kidding. No one wants to see that. Actually, I might kill it. Now, the other question you have for yourself is, what is mezzanine behavior? What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. As we all know, the mezzanine of the theater is the upper level. The upper level is usually cheaper. And who can afford $500 front row seats or orchestra seats to shows nowadays? Very, very, very small percentage of people can. I love to do the rush, the lottery, get a good seat all the way up in the back and see the show from the very last row. Seeing the show from the mezzanine actually has a lot of great assets to it. You can see the full picture of everything. You don't have to smell an actor if they fart or burp or spit on you. I'm looking at you, Jonathan Groff. Well, that's a different topic for another time. Also, a great thing about sitting in the mezzanine is you walk up all those stairs in those old Broadway theaters and you get your steps in. I would love to sit in the orchestra for every show. One day more. Another. Yes. The first segment of the show I like to call Jason's Psychic Abilities. If you know me in real life, you can attest to this. Jason Eric Testa is always right. 90% of the time, I think. I make outlandish predictions of casting in musicals, things that should be musicals, collaborations for artists on songs, Broadway productions. I come up with a lot of ideas. I have a million ideas inside this ADHD brain, always going a million miles a minute, which is why I stutter on my words. So take notice of that, why don't you? Yes, so this is the part of the episode where I give some fan castings, put them out there in the world, and we'll look back on this 6 months from now and be like, yo, Jason was right. First one I want to start off with. Zara Larsson as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde the musical. Hold your breath. I get it. Celebrities are on Broadway all the time now. We should give them to Broadway performers. Yes, but if we're going with the business mold that they're doing right now, and producers are listening to me, if we want a good star casting for Legally Blonde the musical, put in none other than Swedish pop sensation Zara Larsson. She has the vocals, she has the look, she has the moves for it. Have we seen her act before? I don't think so. However, if you watch lots of interviews with her, she's very bubbly, charismatic, and also like has a good like edge to her that I think would work really well towards the end of Act 2. You know, when she's really coming into herself. But she can sustain an 8-show-a-week moment. I just know it. Everyone go watch her MTV EMA performance of Wow and get back to me. Hell, we can even do it on NBC. Oh, they don't do those anymore though. You guys, whatever happened to NBC Live musicals? They can never get it right. I think the closest they got to it was probably Grease or Hairspray. The Wiz was great too. Not Sound of Music. Not Peter Pan. Shout out Allison Williams though.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Hey, my second fan casting of the day. There's a few, okay? There's a few for this role in general, but I'm gonna go with my number one for right now that I want. We need Raven-Symoné back on Broadway as Mary Todd Lincoln. Yes, we do. She is a comedic actress for a generation. That's So Raven still holds up. Her physical comedy, she has her own unique way of just saying things. Her Mary Todd Lincoln would be out of this world, and I don't think a Broadway schedule in a typical musical, like say if she were to go back in Sister Act, I don't think that would be appealing to her. But the thing with Oh Mary is the show is very short. It's like 80 minutes. Sure, it's the lead of the show, so it is at the end of the day taxing, of course. But if we can entice Raven-Symoné to get back on Broadway as Mary Todd Lincoln, I think all my scabs would be healed. In other breaking Broadway news from this week, on the topic of Oh Mary, apparently Jennifer Lawrence was in negotiations to also play Mary Todd Lincoln. What the fuck? What the fuck? We could have had it all. We could have had it all. And we could have had Jennifer Lawrence as Mary Todd Lincoln. Are you fucking shitting me? I've been saying Jennifer Lawrence needs to be on Broadway. I know she's been in interviews talking about how a Broadway schedule does not sound appealing. But apparently on the latest episode of Las Culturistas, she said she was in negotiations. And the reason why it didn't happen was because of scheduling. And she has a young child, and 8 shows a week is a lot. Like, I get it. But selfishly, I don't care, Jennifer. Get up on that Broadway stage, please. What other roles could she do? Venus in Fur. Let's put her in Venus in Fur. Also, I was going to say Glass Menagerie. Yeah, that could work. She can sing, but I know she doesn't want to. So if we were to put her in a musical, she could do... I don't know. I'll think on that. Tell me down below what roles you think Jennifer Lawrence should do on Broadway. Welcome to Former Child Star Support Group. This is the part of the show where I share my trauma. But this story actually isn't traumatic. This is one of my most fondest stories ever. I made my Broadway debut. Can I speak? I made my Broadway debut at 12 years old in the revival of Elf the Musical, starring Leslie Kritzer, Beth Level, etc., etc. I played a little boy. That was the name of the character. And I also was the standby for Michael, which is the lead child role in that show. He has these big, belty high numbers with Beth Level. I was my own stage parent. I would force my parents to pick me up from school early to let me crash auditions, which is how I booked the Addams Family tour. I'll tell that another time. The show had just opened in November. The understudies and standbys had only had 2 or 3 rehearsals, I want to say. It was not very many. We hadn't even staged and blocked the whole entire show for us. So I think all of Act 2 I never really did. I just knew it from watching the show in rehearsal and also being neurotic and literally sitting in my bedroom and going over it by myself. Because I watched a lot of Smash. I knew a Karen Cartwright moment could happen. And boy, did it. That's right. After 3 rehearsals, I want to say, I get the call the morning of, hey, you're going on for Michael today. And I was like, sick, great, got it. I think all the adults around me were very nervous because, you know, putting on a 12-year-old in a Broadway multi-million-dollar production is a risk, especially if you only had a few rehearsals. So I got to the theater a little bit early, and we attempted to go through everything, but we're not doing it with lights, full set, costumes, orchestra, audience, obviously. It's just a bare stage and just like kind of winging it, hoping that I retain all that information. So I could tell the adults were very nervous, but in the back of my brain, of course, I was like, this is my Karen Cartwright moment. I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to kill it. The last episode of season 1 of Smash, when Karen goes on for Marilyn, spoiler, and the camera follows her from her dressing room down to the stage, that's what I felt like. I could feel everyone's nervous energy around me, but in my brain I was like, Karen Cartwright, I'm Karen Cartwright, and I'm going to crush this. I think it ran very, very smoothly. I think I almost slipped on like the elf tap shoes at the end. I think it was a long time ago. I don't remember. But afterwards, everyone was very happy and excited for me. I think they were shocked that I pulled it off. But that's me. I'm a professional. I can't wait to be on Broadway again one day. It's going to happen soon. I feel it in my bones. So follow along on my journey if you would like to be a part of it. I also have this idea for a segment where I play a song that would scare a theater kid. Do we like the idea of that? If you want to be spooked, go and play ADD SUV by Uffy and Pharrell. It's the remix. It's like Van Harden remix or something like that. That song will give a theater kid a seizure because there's no structure. It sounds like you're on drugs and it would not fit in the musical. See, this sounds a little pick-me. Let me know down below. If you would like a full segment of songs that would scare a theater kid, let me know. This is the pilot episode, after all. Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in the Surrey. When I take you out in the Surrey with a fringe on top. Okay. Every episode I've decided I am going to open up a Playbill binder of mine and talk about shows that I have seen and give 1-sentence reviews of each show. Either that I've seen that week, or if it's an old one, you get the gist. I have an insane collection, and they're all in binders. I've been very fortunate, privileged, and grateful to see a lot of theater. Anyway, needless to say, I have a lot of binders. Let's go grab one. Let's go with a recent show that I've seen. Liberation at the James Earl Jones Theater. They just renovated this theater, by the way, since COVID. It looks amazing. It used to be a super tiny, confined, no lobby theater. They turned it out. I felt very comfortable and I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, Liberation, 1 sentence. A very moving and powerful and funny show. Go see it. I loved it. Another play that I saw recently, Punch, at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater. That shit was intense and the accents weren't always correct, but I would recommend it. And the final show review of this episode, Heather, and Heather's the musical at New World Stages. What happened to Playbill at New World Stages? What is a stage light? I saw the original off-Broadway production 3 times with 3 different Veronicas. I love this show. I was in the World Junior premiere of it in high school. I love the show. But 1 sentence to describe this production. The definitive production and cast I've ever seen of Heather's. Go see it. Thank you all for listening and watching this first episode of Mezzanine Behavior. I will be back weekly with the show and we will eventually grow to be a big production. I want some cool interludes and some little jingles in between, but for now we're DIYing it and we're gonna get into the sorts of things throughout time. So if you want to be a part of this journey, like, subscribe, follow me on everything social media down below, and I will see you soon. Bye. Ooh, it's hot.
Yeah, bro.